When a major supply chain breaks or a natural disaster strikes, a dense infrastructure grid can abruptly stop. This freeze halts basic resource pipelines. Civic capacity drops instantly, and the materials required to keep a community functioning no longer reach their destination. Without clear information, ground-level behavior shifts toward localized panic and blind hoarding as residents react to the sudden scarcity. While the physical shock is immediate, the true danger lies in the governance layer, which lacks the tools to see these fractures as they occur. Traditional governance operates with significant latency, attempting to manage a live crisis using data that is months or years old. A systemic shock creates a vertical drop, but the state's data curve remains flat for years, a regulatory autopsy. Reacting to old data, leaders deploy blunt policies, creating secondary damage spikes on the timeline rather than stabilizing the fracture. This delay strands capital in the wrong sectors, as resources are routed based on past needs rather than the current reality of the crisis. By the time the data reveals the scale of the problem, the temporary disruption has already hardened into permanent structural damage. Preventing systemic collapse requires replacing the autopsy model with a continuous, low-latency feedback loop. This map illustrates the active audit, a continuous resonance pulse that identifies and plots jurisdictional data nodes as they change. This process filters out the noise of subjective political signals. It highlights the exact geographic coordinates where physical deficits are emerging. This measurement provides a real-time reading of a jurisdiction's thermodynamic capacity, tracking exactly how much stress the system can handle. Constant situational awareness eliminates the guesswork of governance, making crises visible at the moment of inception. Achieving this level of awareness has historically required invasive mass surveillance. The traditional approach relied on building centralized data lakes, which concentrated vulnerable citizen information in a single, high-risk location. P3C utilizes cryptographic attestation to solve this. As shown in this data flow, individual nodes pass mathematical proofs of need to the center, while the underlying personal identifiers remain locked and isolated at the local level. This architecture identifies exactly where a crisis is happening without monitoring the private lives of the population. When the active audit detects a localized deficit on the grid, the system responds within milliseconds. The response is executed through programmable state capital, an automated financial intervention mechanism. In this network map, capital is routed with pinpoint precision to flashing fracture nodes, stabilizing the community immediately. This precision deployment occurs so rapidly that the fracture is often resolved before traditional early warning alerts would have even registered the event. The integration of real-time detection and automated capital provides the jurisdiction with a functional immune system, addressing fractures as they appear. This system synchronizes state resources with specific civic needs through a continuous real-time loop. We call this synchronized state the well-being gradient, a landscape where resources are pulled toward areas of localized deficit. This simulation shows capital flowing down the gradient to fill localized deficits. By providing this immediate baseline of support, the state restores the predictable conditions required for private commerce to resume and complete the recovery. P3C enables rapid economic recovery without centralized surveillance, without regulatory latency, and without allowing temporary shocks to become permanent. Precision governance is a deployable reality. Initiate your briefing at p3c.tech.